and a very warm welcome as you join us here live on CBN News from Glasgow, somewhere way outside of London anyway, somewhere it costs a lot of carbon and company expenses to get to. We're live for you here on CBN News. We're live on the opening day of COP26. And you join us here for a lively and balanced debate. And Michelle is here to tell us more. Yes, Michael, and of course I chose to travel here by liquid oxygen rocket engine propulsion, unlike Greta Thumbnail, who has put us all to shame by swimming here from her home planet of Mars. And Greta had this to say at a press conference just earlier today. Lies, 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 and more lies. Blah, blah, blah. 30 years of blah, blah, blah. Floundering, drowning, and flooding in the cesspit of the rhetoric of our journalists and politicians. Net neutral, carbon neutral. This is bullshit. This is blah, blah, blah. Yes, well, quite clearly a display of passion from the, as can only be expected from the Norwegian schoolgirl activist, I'm sorry, just hearing not schoolgirl anymore. She's 18 now. Meanwhile, Sir David Attenborough, who of course has lived on the Galapagos Islands since February 1686, says he may yet live long enough to evolve into a giant sea turtle, which doesn't have to eat plastic carrier bags for breakfast. Yes, and Prince Charles has said that COP26 matters so much to him. He cares so much about the environment, and that's why after his long walks in Balmoral, he has his servants whipped. I'm sorry, I'm not sure where that came from. He has his servants, after his long walks, boil up in the region of 40 to 50 free-range eggs, just so that he can have 3 of them freshly boiled to perfection at just the moment when he returns from his walk, without having to bother to tell his servants what time he's coming home, thereby reducing his digital carbon footprint. Yes, of course, the Queen won't be attending, and Charles has said that neither will Harry and Meghan, because their palace in California is just so huge that Meghan was worried she might get claustrophobic on her way over in the private jet. And of course, we also have to remember that Harry and Meghan are still extremely vulnerable, grappling with their mental health and the cruel financial situation they find themselves in, since last year the royal family removed the £20 million a week uplift on their universal credit. Now let's hear from 2 activists from Insult Britain. They are the latest in a long line of climate activism which steers the problem of climate change away from being a normal, legitimate, mainstream concern for everyone to care about by turning it into a hippie freak show, which pisses everyone off. Insult Britain attracts members who have literally no other way to make friends. Earlier on, we spoke to one such activist, Tracy Mangleman, to get her take. But I am finding all of this incredibly challenging, being forced to unglue myself from the road in order to answer supposed questions by a journalist. Are you just heartless or stupid or too scared to face the truth, or both? Michael, then there's her colleague Liam Naughty, and he's very naughty, as well as very inarticulate and very stupid. Yes, Liam was challenged on God More on Britain and was asked how he felt about the fact that a woman having a stroke suffered paralysis and was even left unable to speak as a direct result of delays, doctors said, caused by Insulin Britain protesters. Here's what Liam had to say when he was challenged on the case. Oh, what people have got to understand is, when we glue ourselves to the road, we are paralysed as well. We look just like stroke victims as well, and I can't speak properly either, so it is actually fair. Liam was then asked if his own home is insulated, to which he answered, "You're asking all the wrong questions, because you are just glued to your microphone and your earpiece, aren't you? They're telling you what to say, aren't they? All paid for by the government and big fossil business. It's money in your back pocket, isn't it? And you don't realise that by the end of this century, Liam Boring will hopefully have finished talking, and regardless, will be thankfully underwater, glued to a shark." And last but not least, our trusted breakfast Prime Minister Boris had this to say as he opened proceedings here at COP26 this morning.
Just come in. Sorry about the delay, folks. What am I supposed to Greta put these bloody things in my hair. Excuse me, one moment, ladies. There we go. All good. Ladies and gentlemen, Boris here, your Glasgow and also Roman gladiator Prime Minister. You probably saw me yesterday in the newspapers, addressing all you blue and red Conservative voters. Boris here tuning in, as if they even have wireless radios this far up north. Tuning in, I gather, from somewhere north of did I say north? Levelling up. Somewhere north of Hadrian's Wall at Cock 26. And Cock is a testament to just how much further up north the Conservatives have made it compared to the Romans ever did. And indeed compared to how Dominic Cummings ever did as well. Just for these insulate Britain, glue-sniffing junkies, I'd like to reassure the public it's pretty clear that Pretty Patel, our racist, pro-Windrush but conveniently brown Home Secretary, will be taking care of business and shouldn't be having all these climate planet protest riffraff scum deported, I imagine. Deported from the planet itself, if possible. We place our trust in Pretty to take care of business. Now, if you'll excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, there's a huge amount of work to be done here, testing the wonderful catering services which have been laid on. So for now, ladies and gentlemen, over and out. What a load of rubbish, eh, Michelle? Climate change. The climate has changed here because, hello, we drove about 6,000 miles north of London.
I know. Why did they have to do it up here in this shithole full of knife crime? And I'm freezing. We might as well be in the Arctic. But at least if we were, then we could watch the ice melting, which would be a lot more interesting than doing this.
And all this climate change rubbish. I mean, honestly, this idea that the enormous spike in extreme and dangerous weather events, floods, droughts, forest fires, heat waves in Canada, this idea that all these things are somehow related and we're supposed to feel bad about it. Next they'll be telling us that farting is bad for birds and isn't allowed anymore.
Oh, let's go for a drink, Michael.
I'm sorry, I can't, Michelle. I'm booked on a safari in the Gorbals this afternoon. Wish me luck.
Oh, Michael, be very careful to keep your door locked at all times and never get out of the car.
I'll see you tomorrow, Michelle.